there, and welcome to Neophyte.tv, the technology review with 2 points of view. My name is Tiffany Young.
And I'm Ben Friedman. And every Monday we bring you 2 unique points of view on some of the latest gadgets, software, and websites, along with the week's top stories.
Don't forget to visit our website at www.neophyte.tv to subscribe to this podcast or to send us your questions. You can even use our audio voice link to leave us voicemail questions using your computer's microphone.
This week we'll be looking at the video iPod and comparing it to a new player that's just come out from a company called Tavi, plus the financial software Microsoft Money, and we'll look at the travel website Expedia.com. We'll also answer some of your questions sent to us by email.
But first, let's take a look at some of the news making headlines this week.
Nintendo announced this week that they've changed the name for their upcoming gaming console from the well-known Revolution to the somewhat less impressive-sounding Wii, spelt W-I-I. A key feature of the Wii is its one-handed controller that looks like a television remote control and uses motion detection sensors that allow a player to control the game by wielding it like a sword.
Napster, which pioneered the concept of free music shared via the web, has moved back to that model, with a catch. Napster's basic service is now entirely advertising subsidized, allowing users to stream music from the company's library of about 2 million songs for free. The catch is that each song may be played only 5 times, after which time the user is asked to subscribe to Napster's paid service. Users may also buy the individual track instead of subscribing.
Skype, the voice-over IP provider owned by eBay, is launching a new feature called Skypecast. It allows users to participate in conversations with up to 100 other Skype subscribers at once. The Skype service already contains a feature that allows for conferences with up to 10 participants. But new Skypecasts will allow for 10 times as many and will be moderated by a host.
Symantec is relaunching the anti-phishing industry group, gained via its 2005 acquisition of Whole Security. Symantec is promised to bring a more professional approach while signing on some well-known participants, such as eBay, Microsoft, and Vista, who helped found the Phish Report Network. Participants will contribute the details of any new phishing activity they observe in order to help other members keep an eye out for similar attacks.
Microsoft's latest operating system, Windows Vista, will likely be delayed again by at least 3 months, according to research group Gartner. The report states that Vista is too complex to be able to meet Microsoft's targeted November release. Microsoft originally targeted a 2005 launch for the new Windows, then pushed the release out to 2006 before announcing in March that Vista would again be delayed to improve the product's quality.
America's smallest state is seeking to become its first to offer a wireless broadband network from border to border. The Rhode Island Wireless Innovation Network should be fully in place by 2007. Creators say a prime benefit of the network will be to draw businesses looking to use Rhode Island as a laboratory to test market new technologies on a statewide, demographically diverse population. For more than 20 years, VideoGuys.com has been the leading sellers of digital video editing and production equipment. And now they are leading the way into high def. Whether you're just getting started in the video editing or you're a seasoned broadcast professional, VideoGuys.com has the information you need to find the best hardware and software for your needs. Their knowledgeable staff will help you put together a system to edit DV, HDV, and HD, and create DVDs, HD DVDs, and Blu-ray DVD discs. Visit them today at www.videoguys.com, and don't forget they have a 30-day money-back guarantee and free tech support on every product they sell.
And welcome back to Neophyte.tv. In this spotlight, we're going to take a look at the latest iPod to come out from Apple, which is the 5th generation 5G iPod that is capable of playing video. And we're going to compare it to a brand new product that's just come on the market, which is called the Tavi. And now, you are an iPod owner. You like the iPod. Tell us your thoughts.
I'm a huge fan of the iPod. I love it. I think it's easy to use. I don't mind that the video screen is, what, 2-something inches? What is it, 2.1?
2.2 or
2.2, whatever it is. It's not bad. It's not bad. I use it at the gym. I use it to travel. I get my shows on it weekly. Nowadays, they even have cars that are coming out where you can plug your video iPod into your
That's what you want,
car.
right? You want to be watching a video from your iPod while you're driving.
I'm talking about, your kids, your passengers, whoever's in the car. It's all about the experience. And if it's versatile, then, great.
I still think the iPod is the best MP3 player out there because of its great interface. But I really like this new unit from Tavi because it overcomes. I tell you, you try watching video on that small screen, I think you're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy.
2.2 inches is like in so many things, it's just not enough.
It is enough.
And I think it's well. Now, the Tavi is not that much bigger. It's a 3.5-inch screen, but that's a considerable amount bigger. And what I really like about it is this clamshell design means that your screen will never get scratched.
See, for me, that would never work because this clamshell design makes this unit top heavy. I mean, okay, look, if I was to put this on my treadmill, stepper, whatever, it's not going to work because it's going to fall off the...
So it's not treadmill friendly.
No, it's not treadmill friendly, but it does sit up, which I do like, which is nice.
Okay, now, and let me tell you another feature that I think you will not be able to argue is a good thing. One thing, as I have mentioned previously, I'm not a huge headphone wearer. One thing I like about the Tavi is it has built-in speakers.
Right, but how good are they?
Well, they're good in quiet environments. Right. You probably wouldn't want to listen to music on them. But I like to watch videos, and as long as you're in a quiet environment, watching videos in bed or in the living room or you won't be able to watch your videos on a subway or in a taxi in a car with these built-in speakers. But in a quiet environment, it's great to have. It's a good place to have these.
Okay, now let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah.
Do you think that you can be any further away from that listening to your Tavi than you can be from this iPod with this screen and lose quality one way or the other? I mean, I would argue that the quality of the sound you're going to lose anyway. I mean, and what you lose in the screen, by viewing the screen. Do you know what I'm saying?
Really, no. But one thing I will tell you is, I'm just not a fan.
I guess that wasn't clear enough.
I'm not a huge fan of wearing headphones. So here you don't have the option. You wear.
But you can't stand very far back from that and even hear it. That's what the point is.
But it's not standing far away. I don't really like to wear headphones that much. So the other thing is both of us could sit here like this. And let me tell you something I do. I have 2 young kids under the age of. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and we take this to restaurants with us. And we take it to restaurants, and when they get too loud, we set this up sometimes if we want to have a few minutes of quiet. If the service is bad, it's taking a long time. We set this up and we'll play like Dora the Explorer. I know, and with Preston, who's 2, my son, he watches my video iPod with a headset, no problem, and he has excellent sound quality. I don't even... But I have 2 kids. Are you sure your kids... I have 2. I know, but you can get a dual jack for this. I guess. Then you have to carry 2 sets of headphones around and all that sort of stuff. Plus, scratches, okay? Your iPod is scratched the heck. You're scratched the heck. So finally, one good thing. Price. Okay, you got me on price. It's cheaper. You got me on price. This thing is, do you know where you can buy this? Walmart. Now, let me mention, this is very strange. They sell this at Walmart, but the website for support is entirely in Korean. Okay, now, if that doesn't prove my point, I don't know what does. So there is no real good English website. There is a brochure page in English that shows you about the features, but the support site is all in Korean. It's impossible. And I must admit, I needed support because one thing I noticed, I don't know what operating system it's running. It's probably some Linux derivative or something, but it does crash occasionally. And sometimes when you turn it on, it'll turn on, boot for a few seconds, and then stop, and then turn off again, and I'll have to hit the button a couple of times, and then it'll turn on again. Not a deal breaker for a geeky person like me, but for someone who is maybe wanting, not someone who that's going to worry, I think I could see that. Well, the big worry for me was that I couldn't read the website. Yes. That would be my first clue. Yes, let's go do research on the product. You try to do research. It's not like I'm going to take it apart and figure out why it's not working, Maybe Ben would, I wouldn't. I wouldn't take it apart. One other thing I do like is this, it's got a cool touch, to fast forward and rewind. You use this touch screen, touch ribbon, I guess, which is kind of like the touch wheel on the Apple. Cool. But you can go left and right here. I don't know if you can see that. We'll get a shot of me zipping backwards and forwards here. Can you see it? And it goes on. And it does all the other stuff, photos, MP3, has an alarm clock, so very similar to the feature set of the iPod.
So let me tell you what, maybe I would take another look at it if it came down in price, the website was in English, and there was tech support. How about that?
Hopefully, version 2, those things will all be happening.
Right.
Tech support. I'd like to have an updated firmware that corrected that problem.
Right.
And also, it does play DivX files, which is nice. Something that
what's a DivX file?
DivX is a really cool codec that is a great way to compress movies and DVDs, compressing DVDs. Which is something we probably should talk about in a future show, huh?
Right. I really think that our viewers, I've had a couple emails already on this, would like to know how to get a DVD onto their iPod in a simple, easy way. So can we cover that
Simple
soon?
and easy is the tough part. You can do it, but it's kind of a hacker way of doing it. So you know what? We will talk about that in a future show. But I know I haven't convinced you away from your iPod. You still love it. I still like the TAVI.
Right.
I can see the benefits of the iPod, though, as well. So, you know, two pretty cool devices. Oh, did we mention the price? This was almost $500. I think it was $499 for a 20-gig product, whereas this you can get 60 gigs for, I think, $399.
That was the other big part of that, is you get, a third.
You get
essentially
a third of the size for more expensive.
Right.
So you have to really like the clamshell design, which I do like, because then I can stick it in my pocket without a case. So that I do see that as a good benefit.
Can you add a 5-megapixel camera to that and a Bluetooth, and I'll take another look at it?
Okay.
For $500, yeah.
All right, and we'll be right back in just a moment. If you're looking for a custom-built computer system created to the exact specifications you're looking for, look no further than Puget Custom Computers at www.pugetcustomcomputers.com. Puget builds computers the way you want them built. They work hard to take the hype out of computer building, to help you make good decisions, and to help save you from paying for things you don't need. It's their goal to provide you with everything you need to have a hassle-free computing experience. For your next PC, look up www.pugetcustomcomputers.com.
Welcome back to Neophyte.tv. In this spotlight, we're going to be covering Microsoft Money, which is a home finance software package. And I have personally been using this software for about a year now, and I find it to be very user-friendly. I think it's very easy to use. You don't have to be an accountant, that's for sure, to kind of come in and do your basic banking. Not only that, it's very compatible with online banking, so you can download straight into your software. However, the downfall to that, and not only that, and some of the other financial software, is that when you start downloading, sometimes what your online banking will do is duplicate transactions, and that's kind of a glitch that I know that some of these software companies are working on.
So you'll have more than one transaction in the software?
You can go from having a completely balanced, healthy checking account to having duplicate transactions and being completely confused in 5 seconds with the download. So
I got to tell you, I am not a huge fan of home financial software. I do just about everything I need to just with online banking. I don't budget a whole lot, so I use Quicken for some of my business matters, but I just use bill pay and that kind of stuff because I guess I'm not much of a budgeter when it comes to that. Now, having said that, I looked at Microsoft Money. I thought it had a great interface. I mean, I think you're right. Cannot fault the fact that it's easy to use. However, did you notice that it's very easy to get messed up with the categories? You have to be very specific about which categories you put things into, because if you put one thing into like a home improvement category, then you could put something else in like a home repair, or if you don't use the exact same name for which category, you're going to get messed up with all your transactions.
No, there's a list. The list, you can, from the pull-down menu, you can reselect that same category again. However, it's very easy to think that you selected the category and you actually are adding a new one when you don't mean to be.
Right.
That's something that happens a lot. Now, when you say, oh gosh, how much money did I spend in home repair, you have to be careful for the year. Let's say it's a year period. You have to be careful now to make sure that you didn't accidentally add something that just says home with no repair or home improvements. So it can be, you have to be very conscientious when you're putting in. If you're trying to budget and do categories, you have to be consistent with that software.
Here's the problem I have with Microsoft Money, because like I said, I do like the interface. I think it's a good-looking piece of software. I think it's very easy to use. But it does store some of your data on the Microsoft server. Now, it's encrypted and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know, there are some people out there, especially the geeky among us, that is not really comfortable having some of your data sent up to Microsoft.
Well, I'm not sure how many people are comfortable having their data sent up to Microsoft. It really does become, and with the newer versions especially of Microsoft Money, it's almost like it automatically is prompting you. You think that you're putting in your password to like your MSN account to kind of log on through Money to get to your online banking, but what it's doing is it's attaching your online banking to your software, and now you're going through, instead of going direct to online banking, which is the first security breach now that you're making by not cutting and pasting in a browser your bank, bank information. It's now going through the software, which makes you now codependent on the software. Now there's another way for some hacker to get in sideways and go phishing for your account information. And you don't realize, at least I didn't when I put it in, that I was telling Microsoft Money to connect to the Microsoft server to transport my personal information. It would seem like it was a complete accident, and all of a sudden I'm like, uploading what?
Right, exactly.
It scared me. I was like, what? What's going on? No, stop.
So you do want to be careful if you're amongst the paranoid among us.
Right. I'm like trying to unplug the computer.
Right. But you can do bill pay and all that stuff. Another thing that I thought was great about the Microsoft Money is how easily you can track your investments, your stocks and bonds, mutual funds.
Right.
Great way to track that. But at the same time, I use a Charles Schwab account, and I find I use that to track investments. Right. So to me, it's almost kind of duplicating a lot of the stuff that I already do.
I just think it comes down to personal preference. I mean, what is it, you
like to budget. You just like to keep track of your finances
I do.
a lot more
I need
than
to keep track of where, all the things go,
So,
especially my technology expenditures.
Because of the fact that it stores money on the Microsoft server, and because of the somewhat cautious use you have to be careful with the categories, that knocked it down a couple of points. I give it a 3 out of 5.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, almost a 3 out of 5 because of that whole, I felt like being tricked into, being linked to the server on accident.
You sure you want to go 4?
Incident? I don't know. Maybe I should go. I like to do 3.5, but I know we don't do half. So, I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3 because I just don't think it's... Yeah, I don't think that was very nice of them.
That's 3 for Tiffany and 3 for me, so that's a total of 6 out of 10 for Microsoft Money. Not a bad program if you're the kind of person who likes to budget.
Exactly.
And we'll be right back after this.
Planning an event or convention? Launching a new product? Want to give potential trade show customers direct professional access to your website? Short-term kiosk rentals from kioskforrent.com is the answer. Prompt, friendly service and commitment to customer care will make your kiosk rental easy and worry-free. So whether you need a multi-unit package for a marketing campaign, 2 units for a trade show, or a single unit to add professionalism to a special event, kioskforrent.com is your preferred kiosk rental solution.
And welcome back to Neophyte.tv. In this spotlight, we're going to be talking about another online website, a travel website this time, Expedia.com. Now, I've used Expedia before to book hotels and to book plane tickets, and to be honest, actually, I like a lot of the packages that you can get on there. If you don't know where you want to go and you're sort of starting from scratch, it is I think a great place to go online. And say, here's my budget, or here's the dates I want to go, or here's what I'm looking for, and you can do some searching and narrow down what it is that you want to look for. I've used it. It's been okay.
Well, that's been Ben's experience.
That's my experience.
My experience, however, has not been so great. I do agree that it's a good tool to go online to begin your research. For example, if you don't know exactly what airlines fly, maybe direct nonstop to a certain city, you can go onto Expedia.com and they'll, give you a list pretty much by price. They don't list everybody, but you get close. So that's good. Also, you get an idea on price. I think that's a good starting point for price, just to kind of start your comparison. What I don't like about Expedia.com is that It's next to impossible to get out of a reservation. Once you're in a reservation, you've made those plans, you've paid the money. You're not dealing with the specific hotel anymore. You're not dealing with the specific airlines. You're dealing with Expedia, whose customer service level I found to be not really that great.
Did you had a reservation you wanted to cancel? And
I did. I actually ended up with my husband in a hotel in Hawaii that was a 5-star. Great hotel, researched it was great. We got there and the accommodations were far less than 5 stars, so I called Expedia and said, hey...
Now, why was it listed as a 5-star hotel if it's crappy accommodations?
Well, as it turns out, the hotels rate themselves. They report to Expedia, not Expedia, doing the research for the hotels. The hotels are saying to Expedia, we have this, that. Well, we're 5-star. List this as a 5-star.
The hotel can basically tell Expedia what they want to be rated at.
Unless someone like me comes on and complains and says, this is not a 5-star hotel, it's missing these amenities that would make it 5-star, then they don't catch it.
So
and you're paying a 5-star price.
What did you end up with? Something less than 5-star.
We were stuck. We were stuck in that hotel. They did agree that it was a 4-star. They agreed to fix the website, but how did that help me? I would have paid $100 less per night for a 4-star. They didn't refund my money. We were not out on the streets. I've heard stories about people being stuck out on the streets. We weren't on the streets. We were at a 4-star, not a 5-star. We sound like we're a little spoiled, but we paid for a 5-star.
This has happened to me as well with Expedia. I booked some travel on Expedia.com, and when I got to the hotel, they had never heard of me.
Right.
Now, according to Expedia, and I had the piece of paper and all this stuff that said I had the reservation, I showed it to them. In my case, they called Expedia, and within 20 minutes it was wrapped. It was fine. I was in the room at the price that I wanted. It wasn't an issue. They said it was okay. And
it was a 20-minute issue, though.
Granted, and my opinion is that nobody's perfect, and it's okay. But at the same time, what if the hotel had been full? What if there hadn't been any rooms available for that night, and they hadn't heard of me, and there was some issue, going back and forth?
I think if you Google Expedia.com horror stories, you're going to come up with a lot of hits.
Expedia.com horror stories. So here's the question.
I think that if you do, I think you'll probably come up with a lot of stories of unhappy people from the travel site.
I don't know about you, but I am travel site agnostic. And by that I mean that I will look at Expedia, but I'll also go to Orbitz, and I'll also go to Yahoo
I do the same thing. I go to every site to check them all.
And to be honest, a lot of the times I find, now maybe if you need an all-in-one package, that's fine, but a lot of times I find you can actually do just as good going direct.
You can.
Going to, for instance, going to America West Airlines rather than booking through Yahoo. I've got a Vegas trip coming up, and we're staying at a room in the Bellagio, and I was able to get a better deal. It was the same price as through Expedia, because I was doing some research for this. I was going to book it online through Expedia. Expedia had the same price, but there were more room options available to me going to the Bellagio's website.
Exactly,
I had the This View side, or the Fountain View side, or do you want the penthouse, or do you want the suite, or the various different options. And I ended up getting an option that initially was not presented to me on the Expedia.com site.
Of course. They're always going to be more accommodating because it's their establishment, Now, I've noticed just very recently that I saved $20 more by going direct to the airlines instead of Expedia.com, specifically.
So, in my experience, even though I like it for doing some research, and if you're looking for a vacation, an all-in-one vacation, it's not a bad place to look at the research. Personally, I would rather go direct, so to the sites. So for me, I'm going to give them 2 out of 5.
I am going to give them a 1 out of 5. One, I'll give them a little leeway because I do appreciate having the research site. I have found better deals on other travel websites. Priceline I've done better on. Travelocity I've done better on. And for their allowing hotels to rate themselves is ridiculous. I mean, if people knew that going in, I think they'd be a little more careful about booking the hotels and their expectations for what they're going to get for their money with Expedia.
So that's 1 out of 5 for Tiffany, and 2 out of 5 for me. That's 3 out of 10. Not the best score. Sounds like probably if you're looking to get the best deals traveling, Expedia.com may not be the right place to go.
Exactly.
And we'll be right back right after this. As a leader in the video industry for over 10 years, SmartSound has defined innovation in music scoring. Now with their flagship product, SonicFire Pro version 4, they take the art of music scoring to a new level. This new version introduces a technology called mood mapping. Mood mapping allows the user to simply identify points on a timeline where the mood of their video changes, and apply mood markers. Then the user simply selects the mix or feel of the music from a pull-down menu that fits the mood of each scene best. With a simple click of the mouse, you can duck for dialogue, make the music atmospheric, make it heavy, take out the horns, limit it to just drums and bass, or remove the melody. Whatever mix and feel you want, it's now immediately at your fingertips. And if you want to customize it further, you have easy access to each instrument or section. Mood mapping will redefine audio for video. See it in action at www.smartsound.com. And welcome back to Neophyte.tv. Finally today it's time for the segment where we answer some of the email we received during the week. And our first email today is, "My PC sucks. Is now a good time to switch to Apple?" And I have to tell you, I think now is a good, or let me put it this way, it's as good a time as ever to switch to Apple. I'll tell you why. Apple has introduced now some lower cost PCs like the Mac Mini and the iMac. The design is impeccable of these systems. They now use the Intel processor, which means that the speed, they've actually caught up speed-wise to a lot of the PC brethren. There's a lot of similar software that you can get on there. And if you're, especially if you've never had a computer right now, I would definitely look at Apple. If you're going to throw out your PC, it's probably not a bad time to at least take a look and see what your options are.
Well, I think that Ben has some good angles. Being the only one that I can really think of, Ben, no offense, is if you've never had a PC. And the reason why I say that is because the investment, the sheer volume of investment it would take to replace all the software that you have for a Windows-based PC.
Oh, that's right, because your software, your PC software will not work.
It doesn't work with Apple. Yeah, it doesn't work with Apple.
If you buy a new PC, you will be able to use all your old software.
I love an Apple product. I love the video side of it. I think it's a little bit more advanced than Windows-based, from my understanding, and friends that have used Apple versus PC. However, I just can't afford to. One, I'll lose productivity because I don't understand the Apple platform like I do a PC platform.
You've always used PCs.
I've always used a PC. To replace all the software that I have would be a very expensive way to go. Now, if Apple want to come in and say, hey, we'll give you this bundle, basically, offer software that everybody pretty much uses, maybe an antivirus, a finance software, some sort of package that comes with their maybe new, really special Apple that comes out, then
So they do actually include quite a bit of software. It's fairly basic level software, but there's a package called iLife that it comes with that has, I think, basic video editing and basic photo editing and basic. And it comes with, I think, a lot of the new Macs, or you can buy it for not a lot of money. But it's, with Apple, you do get a lot of, at least on the basic level of software, you are getting a lot of stuff made by Apple. You don't have to go out to the third-party companies.
Right, but then at the same time, the amount of time now it takes to learn the new software, use the new system, you really have to make, I think, a lifelong commitment. Now, we're kind of going back to the same thing where it's, did you want to use Windows-based or do you want to go Palm One-based? You know what I mean?
Windows Mobile, you're talking about?
Yeah, like with your cell phone, you're Windows-based or Outlook, like Outlook-based, or your Palm. And you can't be both. You can be one or the other.
So stick with what you know is.
I would say stick with what you know for now until you're absolutely certain, unless you've had it with PCs and you're ready to take the plunge.
Our next piece of email is, I only have one PC at home. Do I really need a router? Well, I would say you do need a router for a couple of reasons. First of all, a router is not just a router, it's also a firewall. Windows computers do have firewalls built in, the Microsoft firewall. But your router acts as a much, much better firewall. Now, what a firewall is a device that lets traffic go out. So if you're on your computer and you surf to a web page or what have you, but it will not let anything come in unless you've already gone out and asked for it. So like with web pages, you you go out and ask for the web page, the firewall lets it back in. But if you haven't asked for that page, the firewall will not let that traffic come in.
And then do you just click a button saying, yes, I'll allow this content? Is that kind of
You don't even have to do that. It's automatic. If you have a router, it automatically waits
Okay.
for you to go out before something will come in. In fact, with email, people say, well, email comes in, and that's coming in. Yes, but actually what happens is your email program goes out and asks your server, do I have any email? And if it is, it lets it back in. But without your email program running, there's no traffic can come in through your router.
Well, I didn't know that. That's actually really good information. What I do know that a router is used for, even if you have one PC, is like a wireless print server. For example, you're sitting in your kitchen, you want to print in your office, you can use a router to print wirelessly, which is really great. I mean, who wants to go get off their heinies and take their laptop and go plug it into the printer?
True.
That's nice. That's nice. Also, you can plug in your TiVo. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with a wireless router.
That's true. Routers are not just for computers anymore. You're right. TiVo, printers, anything else that has a network interface on it. There are some DVD players now that you can plug into your network so that they can stream video content off your computer.
Well, now that's great. Now, how can we get that wirelessly?
That's
to
true.
all of our TVs. Would that be nice?
It would be nice. In fact, if TVs with a wireless connection, that's a good idea.
I know.
You should talk to Apple about that.
I know. That would be wonderful. Apple, work on it. We love it.
And that's all the time we have for today. Hey, don't forget to drop by our website, www.neophyte.tv. That's the website where you can click to subscribe to this podcast so that it gets to you every week. And also, you can ask us questions and submit any video blogs. If you're interested in submitting a video blog, we'd love to hear from you there too.
Thank you very much for watching, and visit us again at www.neophyte.tv. Have a great night.
See you next week.